I was woken from a confused and frightening dream of searching the mirador for a pocket watch Shannon had given me, and I had lost long ago, by the sound of someone knocking on the door. I was on my feet almost before I was awake. My first coherent thought was gratitude that I'd made Osteonyx go back to his own room after we'd made love. I called Witchlight, snatched up my robe, shouted at the door, "What?" Sudden silence. I tied the robe, ran my hands through my hair, and flung the door open. "What?" A small acolyte stared back, her eyes wide. "Oh, please, I'm sorry, sir, but I was told the celebrant lunar said I ought—" I stood and waited, letting my eyebrows rise. She turned scarlet and said in an embarrassed mutter, "Your brother." "What about my brother?" "The celebrant lunar said you should come." "Is there time for me to get dressed first?" I said and smiled at her, which caused her to turn an even more alarming color and back up a step, as if she was afraid I might ravish her then and there. "Thank you," I said, shut the door, and scrambled into yesterday's clothes. If it had been truly urgent, Cassanthippi would have told this silly child to tell me so. I knew that, but the residue of my dream, the almost nightmare of looking for something that could not be found, tainted even that certainty. As I followed the acolyte through this stately maze of the Nephelion, I could feel the truth pounding in my heart. If something has happened to him, it is my fault. He is only here because of me. I know they don't understand him. I know he hates them. I have done nothing to help him. It had been a month and a half since the wizards and healers of the gardens of Nephili had cured me of my madness. I no longer saw monsters in every shadow, or imagined that those trying to help me were tormentors long dead. I was whole again, clear-headed, vital and focused in a way I hadn't been since I was first learning magic, first learning to be free. On some days, it was almost as if the last year and more had not happened, as if my life before the Virtu of the Mirador had been broken, before Malkar had broken it, using me as his weapon, could truly be stitched together seamlessly with my life here in the gardens. But on other days, I knew that was not true. And if I needed reminding, there was my half-brother, lamed and trying to help me, apparently unwilling to move without me, for all that we were nearly strangers to each other. The door of Mildmay's room was open, lamplight pouring out. At first glance, the room looked as if Trojans had descended on it like locusts, but the impression resolved itself into Cassanthippi, speaking in a low, venomous voice to a pallid young man I did not recognize. Or Abasios, a celebrant terrestrial I knew vaguely, standing in the middle of the room performing something easily recognizable as a ritual disbursement, and Chrysogonos, the acolyte assigned to my brother's care, kneeling by the armchair where Mildmay sat. I was peripherally aware of my little acolyte attaching herself to Cassanthippi's presence like a limpet.